name is Vila Becken, the Rabbi from Another Planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And I have been watching The Crown. Okay, this review is a little bit of a departure for this channel because it's this is one of the most normie things I watch. Okay, I have a few things that I watch which is kind of like a guilty pleasure normie thing. So I watch The Crown, Downton Abbey, you get in my tape, Survivor, any like Gordon Ramsay show, Kitchen Nightmares, Hotel Hell. They're my guilty pleasures, and this really is a guilty pleasure. I really love it. So why do I love The Crown? Because I'm such a crazy royalist. I really am. So I love the royal family. I know they are far from angels, far from perfect. So I was already well disposed to The Crown. Then they cast Matt Smith in it as Prince Philip, and he was brilliant in that. That's what brought me in. That's why I had a problem with people saying it wasn't fair that Claire Foy, who stars in it, got a lesser salary than Matt Smith. No, Matt Smith should get big. He's a bigger star. He brought me in. He brought me in, and I'm very glad that now Claire Foy had a massive career boost. She's the one who played the Queen in the first 2 seasons, and so they're back. So yeah, again, I'm a massive royalist. I love the royal family. I think they're a false. I think even though again they're made up of very flawed individuals up until the Queen, at the very least, I think they're a force for good. I think the Queen's father is perhaps one of the greatest monarchs in human history. I really do. He's a incredible example of massive personal bravery. When he stepped up and became king, which he didn't need to do. I think he didn't want to do it. So it's come out a lot now with movies like the King's Speech, and I think that's pretty fair, accurate, reasonably fair representation of history. So the Crown is a fantasy. Let's just be clear. It's a fantasy version of fictional events, but it's such a heart fulfilling fantasy. And it just I'll give an example of why I love The Crown. At one point in the first episode of this new season, she visits a dying Winston Churchill, and I love Winston Churchill as well. I really do. I think he's I think the line they use in it describes my feelings for Winston Churchill. They called him Great Britain's greatest Briton, and he is. He was. I think he again, flawed individual, absolutely a flawed because he's a human being, but. Why? Yeah, that's one he's flawed. On the other hand, he saved the world. I really believe that the Britain would never have gone into World War II without his driving force. I don't think they would have won it. I don't think, and I think the Nazis would have won. And had the Nazis won World War II, I don't think we'd get some kind of like cool man in the high castle dystopia. I think we're much more. They would probably have destroyed the world. Yeah, I think they probably would have. It would have ended all life on Earth because it's built on a need to scapegoat, and once you get rid of the Jews, you got to find somebody else. I think their use of nuclear power probably would have ended all life on planet Earth. So I think Winston Churchill save the world. I think he's a fantastic individual, and I'm alive today because of him. Israel exists today because of him. I'm in my home because I have all my friends with him. I owe everything. I owe my life and my existence, the existence to him directly. So I have a lot of time for Winston Churchill. So anyway, The Crown's back, and I love The Crown. It's They have Olivia Colman's taking over the roles, completely new cast. So they start off addressing that head on in quite a clever way. This starts in 1970. And, okay, but before I really get into the meat of going on, the reason I'm reviewing this is because it's so insanely topical. I mean, it's so relevant to right now. Netflix really lucked out. There's no way this could have come out any better tin the way it did. And I'll explain why in a minute. So it starts off addressing the complete change of cast. So in a really clever way, they have the Queen being shown the new stamp. This is set in 1970. She's now a mother of 4. She must be what, in her 40s, maybe 50s by this point. Uh, really, if I was smart, I would have looked up beforehand, so I didn't say myself like an idiot. But she's not a young woman anymore, and so they redid the postage stamps with her face on it, and she's looking at it, and she's like, "I'm getting old," But you have a picture of Claire Foy, a young Queen stamp next to her new one, which is her, and it's like, again, if you watch the first two seasons, you got to. I looked at it this way: that young woman that was the Queen in those seasons. This mature woman is who she grew into, who she turned out to be, which is fascinating. It does take a leap of not a leap of faith, leap of not a leap of reason. Yeah. To say they're the same person, it takes a leap. I'm going to say it takes a leap of something, but I'm having a brain fart and can't remember what it is. So reason this is so topical is because it deals with the beginning of the Harold Wilson government, which I think was a pretty successful government, all things considered. The 70s was a pretty bad time economically for the Western world, but I think he was a pretty good prime minister, and he was a Labour prime minister. Now, if you're not English, the mainstream left wing party in England is called Labour. In America, you call them, they're the equivalent of the Democrats, and the mainstream right wing party in England is called the Conservatives, which is equal to comparable to Republicans. So it's been conservative rule for a long time. It starts off on election day, and everybody's really scared that Harold Wilson's going to win because they think he's a socialist and bring disaster to the world. So what makes this so incredibly relevant and topical is right now in England they're having a flash general election, and unlike Harold Wilson, the leader of the Labour Party now is a genuine socialist. He's a terrible person. Okay. When I say terrible, let me qualify that. He is a socialist, and I think and has many socialist policies. The same policies that essentially destroyed Venezuela is Venezuela and any other country they've been put on. That's what he wants to do. But yeah, fine. If he wants to destroy England, I would feel a bit sad. I feel about England kind of like my dog. I love my dog. I do love my dog. But he's a pain in the ass and he craps everywhere, and I hope he will die. I'm looking forward to him dying. It's like he's getting older, his back legs are going, and like, what are we gonna do when he can't even move around? He's like crawling around on his front legs. And like at that point, he's shitting everywhere. At that point, I'm hoping the vet will say, I think we need to put him down. And I would cry. I would hold his little paw. And I do love he sits on my lap. He's very, my dog is, I love I feed him in the morning. So whenever I come home from synagogue in the morning, he's always waiting by the door, his little whale tail's wagging. But if he dies, I'll feel sad for a couple of days. That's how I feel kind of about England. If this guy Jeremy Corbyn destroys England, but what I really don't like about Jeremy Corbyn is that he's a massive anti-Semite. He's a massive anti-Semite, and so and he's like just completely open about it. And like all great anti-Semites, he's managed to bring all the anti-Semites out the woodwork and turn his socialist supporters into anti-Semites. It's always weird. Why does socialism and anti-Semitism always go hand in hand? What is the connection with that? I honestly, I wish somebody would explain that to me. But they do. They always end up not outwardly hating Jews, because you can't do that. Now they outwardly hate Zionism. They call Jews Zionism. We can't have kosher food here because it's a symbol of the oppressed. That's actually happening. And I read this morning in a proposal in a university, was in Canada, not to have kosher food because it's a symbol of Zionist oppression. So yeah, Zionism. We don't mean Jews, we mean Zionists. No. And he's had anti-Semitic views his entire career. He has a bias against it. He always supports Jew murderers. Any terrorist that kills Jews, he lays reset them. He feels sorry for them. He calls them his friends. Never, ever, ever. I'm seriously. He's never, ever, ever condemned any murder of a Jew by a terrorist. Never. It doesn't happen. It's just because murdering Jews he doesn't care about because he's an anti-Semite. So fine. So that's how it's so incredibly relevant. Now, fortunately, in the 70s, the fears that this guy Harold Wilson was going to be a socialist, and the thrust of the episode is there was a rumor that he was co-opted by the KGB to be a sleeper agent. And it takes the story in an interesting direction. I'm not going to spoil. This is mainly spoiler free. So yeah, the Crown's back, and yeah, there's this. It's very staged. That's the only thing about the Crown. That's why it's a guilty pleasure. It's extremely staged. You know this is not how things went down in real life. I mean, the Queen may have visited Winston Churchill on his deathbed. That may well have happened. I can believe that happening. I can't believe the dialogue would have been so perfect. So that's the Crown. There's this exchange at the end in public where the Queen is very upset with somebody who she feels betrayed him, but she can't necessarily voice it. So she gives like this speech, which is like a coded rebuke to him. And then he gives a speech back, which is a coded defense. And it's really clever. It's really clever. I would love to know if that happened in real life. I doubt. I mean, the actual events of what happened, I'm sure did happen. But that speech, I don't think happened that way. But you know what? I just find it joyous. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a review of every episode. I watched the first one last night. Tonight's a busy night. Tonight is like, I got Watchmen, Rick and Morty, Family Guy, Silicon Valley, Bob's Burgers, and his Dark Material. I'm not going to get to his Dark Material. I'm finding his Dark Material is kind of dull anyway, but I'm watching more out of obligation. And then tomorrow night I'm going to see that new, what's that movie? Ford versus Ferrari. So anyway, my name is Svi Beck and the Rabbi from Another Planet. Oh, if I was smart, I would have bought it, had it sitting next to me. If you're a Doctor Who fan, I am doing a giveaway of I'm doing lots of giveaways of Doctor Who DVD box sets. I'm upgrading my Doctor Who collection to Blu-ray, and so I'm giving away the DVDs. The first one I'm giving away is called A Trial of the Time Lord, which is from, I'm going to guess, 84, 85, around there. It was, let me think. It was 86. I'm going to say 85, okay? My guess is 85. And it's a Colin Baker story. It's a 14-part story and a 4-part Blu-ray, DVD set. And if you want to be entered to win it, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, like this video, share this video, and leave a comment in Facebook, on Twitter, wherever, on here, that would make sense, with the hashtag 6C on trial, because it's the Sixth Doctor. So hashtag SIXIEONTRIAL. Doing the giveaway. My Blu-rays are supposed to arrive in about a week from now. It got lost in the mail. Oh, I'm so looking forward to it arriving. So if you want that, just do that. And you look. I think there's one person entered so far. Go ahead if you want it. It's probably going to be yours. I'm going to doing some David Tennant ones after that, and John Pertwee ones. If you guys want them, I just all you got to do is subscribe. My name is Svi Beck and the Rabbi Freddy the Devil. My name is Svi Beck, the Rabbi from Another Planet. Please like, share, subscribe, ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Thanks so much.